Yeah, get your silly hat on. Hey, everybody, it's Wednesday. It's noon. It's time for the third Busy webinar of 2017. Thanks for joining us. I am Trygve. I am the Director of Buzz Development here at BizzyWeb. In addition, I have with me my faithful friend, Jenna.
Hello.
How are you doing today, Jenna?
I'm doing good. I like that it's warm-ish now, here from Minnesota anyway.
Right, exactly. We have 40 degree temperatures today.
Yeah, that's like summer for us.
Well, today we're going to be talking about how to build or repair your reputation online. And this gets into a lot of interesting things that a lot of people have been asking us about here at BizzyWeb. So we're excited to get started. So for those of you who are new to our Busy webinars, wanted to give you a little shout out. Here's my picture and information. If you are interested in getting this PowerPoint after the fact, you can email me and I'll be more than happy to give it to you. In addition to that, if you want to ask us questions, if you are doing this live, be more than happy to chat with you. You can use the hashtag BizzyWebinar, BizzyWebinar, and Jenna will happily stop me and interrupt me and answer any questions that you might have. So for those of you who haven't heard of us before and are new here, we are BizzyWeb. We are a full-service digital marketing agency based in the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul. There's a picture of our office. We call it the Hive. We tend to hit the bee metaphor pretty hard here. But we have a team of 17 people. We are everything under the sun as it relates to digital. So we can create a brand for you. We can extend that into a website. We can even get more people looking at you or looking at you in a more positive light. So here are a couple examples of the work we've done that we're proud of. In fact, there is the lovely Jenna in our old video. We need to update this slide.
Oh, yeah.
You still look great as you looking at your laptop.
The creeper shot of over my shoulder as I'm staring at my email.
Exactly. Maybe I shouldn't say that we're real proud of that creeper shot. So why are we here today? Well, in the old days of 5 years ago, this is what a standard sales funnel looked like. This is where you spent the majority of your time trying to grow your business by talking to prospects. You would then convert them into being customers, and then you would spend the least amount of time getting those customers to stay being customers. This is great. This is Business School 101. They teach you this on the first day. The trouble is it's now wrong. Because of information being accessible at all times, people will engage with you only when they want to. And in fact, most people, as it's trending in the next 5 years, will most likely already make a buying decision based on your online footprint and what they can find out about you on their time before you even get into speaking with them and start the engagement process. So it's just as important and critical that you have the best digital footprint that you can possibly have. The reason is the key word that I use there is engagement. All of these people will connect with you on some level when they feel like it. They don't have to wait for you to be open. They don't have to wait for you to contact them. They will already be making the buying decisions. Our goal on the whole with digital marketing is to be presentable and be available to those people so that when they are ready to make a buying decision, they're going to come to us. Your reputation as it presents itself from a digital standpoint is absolutely mission critical when it comes into that. So why is this truly important? Well, because the impact of what your footprint could bring to you is astonishing. Statistically speaking, 78% of people say that a company's social media posts and reviews influence their purchase. 73% of those people are more likely to buy from a brand that responds on social media. And even more importantly, 84% of social media users share their support for a cause to show that they are supporting a cause. So the bottom line here is that there's a great amount of impact that can be made for very little amount of money on the positive way, on the negative way, it can be disastrous for you if you're not taking care of it correctly. The good news is you have a great, tremendous competitive advantage. Who you are as a person and the information that you provide to people is crucial and is fantastic as your main selling point. You get to make an authentic connection with the people that you want to deal with by showing who you are as a person. And when you do that, they're going to be even more likely to buy from you. The trick is, and what we're going to be talking about today when it comes to reputation management, is what if they don't like you? As a lifelong experimenter with people not liking me, I have a lot of experience to talk about this. What are we going to be using these tools for? Ultimately, we want to build and expand relationships. We want to protect the relationships we have, and we want to be able to increase our brand awareness. In doing so, what will inevitably happen if it's done well and done right is we will be able to understand what we're doing. People will come to us. They will be able to interact with us when they see fit, and they'll be able to see things that are generally positive, which is the point of having that relationship be on display. So here's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to go through some trends in reputation management and really digital marketing on the whole for the last year and into 2017. I'll talk about what you do with a bad review and how you control it. Next, we'll talk about how to test your reputation online. It's a pretty simple scenario to do that. And then finally, I'll give you some checkpoints and things you want to consider when you're looking at your own reputation. So let's get into it. There's all sorts of different social media tools out there and social networking tools. All of them have a great amount of positives, but all of them are based on the fundamental idea of being able to interact and share information with people and businesses. Obviously, as you go into depths with each of them, there's even more things that you can have involved. Things like photo sharing, things like video, things like recorded videos. All of these are available to us to document the customer experience that we have. Similarly, our customers have the experience to document the customer experience they have. The problem is sometimes they are very different. So making sure that we understand what people are presenting from a networking perspective is absolutely critical. So I wanted to start with some trends that we've been seeing here at BizzyWeb as they apply to reputation management. Number one, you should not be the only evangelist of your brand. So it's not just about you anymore. The more that you can get your employees to start sharing information and start saying positive things about how great it is to work with you, then that's going to be even more advantageous for you. If you can't get your employees to do that without forcing them to do it, again, keep in mind, forcing people to say good things is never really going to turn out well for you. So if you can't get your employees to be evangelists for you, you need to look internally to figure out why not and what can you do differently. There's a benefit here. The more people who are talking about you in a positive way, the bigger the butterfly effect and bigger the pebble dropping in the lake might be for you, because they're going to share with their friends and their friends' friends. So the first thing I want you to think of as you leave here today is, how do I make my employees, how can I entice them to share information about me in a positive light? Second, this is not a baseball game that we're talking about when we're talking about our reputation. This is a long-term marathon sprint. When I talk about a baseball game, what I mean by that is this is not situational. This is not the bottom of the fourth with one on and a runner at third, and we have to react accordingly. This is a long-term game here. So if you have a bad review, that's not the worst thing in the world. You can work around that. Don't freak out. Don't be scared from there. What we want to do is control our reputation across the long-term effects, not just the short-term. So if you have one, that's okay. If you have two, not so much. If you have 3 bad reviews, then it's time to start making some real changes. The benefit of doing this that we've seen is that keeping your eye on your goals and the horizon will help you get there a lot quicker than if you're looking at the road yourself. Third, and this is a really interesting trend that we've been seeing in the last 12 to 18 months, is that reputation is now a marketable, sellable asset. I've seen this a number of times, and I'm sure that you have too, is companies will start touting their reputation. You'll see a lot of times, especially when you hire people in the service trades, like a plumber, they'll say, we have over 1,000 positive reviews on Angie's List or on Google, something like that. So companies are actually taking these positive interactions and these positive things that they've gotten and turning it into a reason for other people to do business with them. The good news here is that more is better. You can always grow and you can always get more. And ideally, what you would see happen is that if you have a great online reputation with some great numbers behind it, that'll actually increase the value of your business as well. Fourth, and this is really crucial when it comes to your reputation online, is personalized messaging is now the norm. What I mean by that is the technology in marketing has advanced to the extent that everything that you communicate with your customers should be on a personal name basis. If not, then you're treating them like a number, or you're treating them like a various piece of direct mail. I've met a lot of people in my life, and I've never once met the person who used to live at my house whose name is current resident. So keep in mind that, yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. No. I appreciate the pity laugh from Jenna. So the more that we can control the reputation, our reputation by presenting ourselves as a friend to our customers, the more they're going to feel more comfortable with working with us, and the more that they're going to give us the benefit of the doubt, because they want to give you the benefit of the doubt as a friend. So the benefit of personalized messaging, the more personalized the message, the more likely they are going to buy from you. So now let's get into the real fun stuff, how to control a bad review. There are a lot of bad reviews out there. There are a lot that some are true, some are not. And it's a double-edged sword. So I want to break this down into a couple of different ways for you. So here's what a good interaction looks like. It's very simple. You have a good conversation. You get everything out on the table. At the end, you shake hands. You part as friends. That's what a good interaction looks like. The problem is it's a one-to-one. Now, if we take that onto the online medium, it's still a one-to-one interaction. The problem is now we're doing it in front of a crowd of 25,000 people. We're still having that same result, but now everybody and their brother can see it. So our goal is, just as if somebody's angry across the tennis court from us, we still have to deal with them, and we still have to deal with them in a positive way. So bad reviews typically break down into a couple of different things, and you have to apologize. I have to apologize. I was doing this deck while I was watching Sesame Street with my son, so some of the analogies are maybe a little juvenile, but this is Chapowski from the Smart Cookies, and so his big line is to figure out a problem is first stop and think it through. Typically, when you see a bad review, your first reaction is to go completely crazy and think, "Oh my gosh, I absolutely don't believe that. It's absolutely wrong." Let's fire off an angry result. Remember that tennis match. It's a one-to-one interaction, but it's going to be seen by thousands and thousands of people. So before you do anything, stop and think it through. What do you want to do next? First thing you want to ask yourself is, number one, is it truthful? Did we really screw up? And if so, why did we screw up? Second, you want to ask the question, is it exaggerated? Does it have some semblance of truth, but not really, and maybe it's a little different? And lastly, is it just plain false? And Jenna is going to tell you a good story about one of our clients who had a false review and what she did to solve it in just a minute. So let's look at the first question. So is it true? So, oh crap, yep, it's true. So first thing that we can do is, again, that's not a picture of my son, but I was watching Sesame Street, so that's why it's a little cute. So just understand that mistakes happen. No matter who you are, you will never have a 100% happy client rate. It's just not possible. No matter what, eventually everyone, when they are in business, will run into that one client that no matter how hard you work and how much you put into the effort and how desperately you want it to be positive, you just simply cannot get it to go right. It is a client that no matter what, it's always going to go wrong. So just own that. Realize that you're not a bad person because something bad happened. Realize that mistakes were made. But what you do need to do is own that mistake. When you own that mistake, you want to ask that customer online, hey, can you give us another shot? And in order to do that, you have to explain, what did you do after you've owned the mistake? What changes have you made so that mistake doesn't happen again? And you want to make sure that you share that with your online audience, because in doing so, then again, keep in mind, the one-on-one interaction is important, but everybody else in the arena is just as important. And they're all going to be looking at you and evaluating whether or not they want to come to you. So we all have this idea that mistakes happen. So if somebody actually owns it and says what they're going to do differently, to me, that's a good argument that that's somebody I want to take a second look at and want to come back to. So that's the first one. Well, if it's true, you just ask for a second chance, and then you let everybody know what changes you've made so it doesn't happen again, and go with that. But what do you do if it's not really what happened and it's sort of different? And this is a picture of Jimmy Stewart, which is what you get if you Google, I once caught a fish this big. I realized showing Jimmy Stewart with his arms apart really didn't get the effect I wanted, which is why I have to tell and therefore ruin the joke, but here we are. So the first thing I want you to consider is that if you get an exaggerated review that is slanted negatively, number one, realize that people see things differently. Don't get irritated because it's not how you saw it. You just realize that some people are going to enter the world very differently than you are. What you can do is share this one phrase with them, and this is really the key crux of everything that I'm going to share with you today. You say, I'm sorry you had that experience with us. That's not our intention to have customers have that. Please contact us offline so we can make it right. That's it. And realistically, what will happen is one of two things. Number one, either the customer will contact you and give you an opportunity to make it right, even though you probably don't think it's right. No, but think you have to. But secondly, if they continue to pop off online, then their original complaint, which arguably in this hypothetical scenario that we're talking about, is in fact has some legitimacy, it's their credibility is going to go farther and farther away from the truth, because they're just wanting to shout and be an online troll. And if that happens, all the better for you, because again, keep in mind, we're trying to please the arena. If so, the arena people see that we've made the effort to try and make it right with our client, then everything else is up to the client. So then there's the big ones. There's the liar, pants on fire. And Jenna, do you want to share the story of what happened with one of our clients?
Yeah, it's a doozy. So we had a client who had someone leave a review on Facebook, and this person was someone who was not a customer. You know, they were just had negative feelings about the company, let's put it that way. And they left a review alleging all sorts of horrible things, saying that the company hired child molesters, that if you let them into your house, they're going to steal everything.
Well, let's hold on a second. So this is a service industry client, so they do come to your house to do stuff at your house. So
yes.
The concept of having bad people coming over is fairly damaging, right?
Yes.
Okay. So and this was not a customer. This was somebody who a jilted person out of a relationship.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it was a employee's ex wife who had come onto the Facebook page.
And she was actually trying to win him back by doing that, right?
I guess. I don't know what the logic was there, but somehow her plan was to win him back by posting negative reviews on Facebook.
Well, it wasn't so much negative reviews as it relates to the discussion. It's just stuff that was patently not true, right?
Correct, yeah.
So this particular client did background checks on all of their employees, and random drug testing on all of their employees. So they were pretty confident in that none of this was true, right?
Yes.
So what did we do to resolve this?
We were actually able to get that review removed by Facebook. You can report a review as being inaccurate or containing harmful information, as long as that is true. Facebook will review it, and 9 times out of 10 will remove it. In this case, I reported it, and an hour later it was gone off the site.
Wow.
Yep.
Cool. So, but that was sort of an outlier, right? It doesn't always get resolved in an hour.
Correct. Yeah, this was an extreme case because of the statements she was making were, pretty obviously false. But if you do have someone leave a review that is very inflammatory, you can oftentimes get it removed by Facebook. If it is, they will review it and see if it meets their standards for hate speech or libel. I was supposed to say slander, but libel's when it's written. And they will remove it if they deem it to be so. And most social media sites have
perfect
some kind of
the trick is and the hardest part in doing this is that typically, and there's no real good solution that we can offer you for this, is that a lot of times what will happen is websites will aggregate their information from somewhere else. So to be able to get to where the root of the information is might take you a little chasing down. So realize you might see the same piece of information in a number of different places. Just every time you find one, just try and knock it down best you can. So we've talked about how to control a bad review, but the key thing there, going back a little on the liar, pants on fire, is keep in mind, one thing I wanted to add is let people talk. If they are just completely bat nuts crazy, then that's fine. Let them go crazy, because for me, when I see somebody who's just going completely popping off on somebody, I realize that the person who's doing the popping off has a lot more problems than the person they're popping off to. So let those people, if they're going to go crazy, just let them go crazy. You can clean it up on the back end. Okay, let's talk about how to test your reputation. This is an easy solution and an easy thing to do. The simple thing that you want to do is you want to Google yourself and see what you get. So I'm going to share this with you, Jenna, because I have a deep affection for you. Last night, I Googled myself.
Okay.
And I found this picture of me and Baron von Raschke giving me the claw. Which is great, and it was fun, and it was a cool night, but it wasn't something that I'm necessarily proud of, because I'm not going to lie, he is a very old man, and that really, really hurts. So the key thing to keep in mind here is that you need to know not only what is out there, but whether or not you can control it or not. This is not necessarily a flattering picture of me by any means. It's not something that really would help me sell more marketing plans to different companies. And so I'm sharing this as a way to bare my soul with you listeners, but also to say that this is something that's out there, and I need to figure out how to take advantage of getting it off so that people don't necessarily see it. So when you do a Google search, typically what you'll find is you'll get something that looks like this. This is what BizzyWebs look like when you Google BizzyWeb. And the interesting thing here that you can take advantage of is you can see a couple of different things. Number one, when somebody's looking for that keyword, are they finding your digital presence? Obviously, because we do this for a living, when you look up BizzyWeb, you're going to see everything that we want you to see. But on the right-hand side, towards the bottom, you'll see that reviews are pulling in from not only from Google, but also from Facebook. And so at a glance, you'll be able to see really the two biggest places where people are reviewing you. I say the two biggest. If you are a retail store, then you would also need to consider Yelp as a place to look at. So when you click on those, you can start getting an idea of what reviews are out there. In addition, what sort of information is being presented by you by the search engines. So our last thing that we're going to talk about is a reputation checklist, and this is our means of wrapping things up for the day. So here are the things that I want you to look at. Number one, is there anything bad in the first 3 pages of a search engine? So if somebody's looking for you and they type you into a search engine, what are the first 3 pages going to say? Anything good, anything bad? If there's nothing good, well, you probably need to change that. If there's something that is bad, you're going to have to take some steps to change that. If you haven't checked, that's absolutely the first place you need to be. So second, if you have something bad, there are a lot of things you can do with it. Number one, I'd ask the question, how recent is it? If it's something from 4 years ago, I can tell you from personal experience, I'm a very different person today than I was 4 years ago. But again, ask yourself, is it correct? Do you know who it's from? Did they really do business from you? Can you call and ask them about it? Can you maybe say, hey, could we try and make it right? These are all sort of getting into the idea of fixing that bad review by trying to reach out and do the right thing. Next, ask yourself the question, how significant of a platform is it? So that one picture of me and Baron von Raschke was in a very obscure website that I never had heard of before. So I'm not terribly worried about the picture, otherwise I probably wouldn't have shared it. But again, the next question is it genuinely wrong? Well, it's not really flattering, but it's not wrong. I really was in that picture, and I really got the claw from Baron von Raschke. So I can't necessarily say it's wrong, but it's not on something that I think people are going to find. Next, and most importantly, how credible is it? Again, that gets into the whole spectrum of crazy. If somebody is using, to me, I think that there are a couple of different standards that I follow. Number one, are there spelling errors? If there are, then I probably don't really hold a lot of credence towards the review. Number two, how reasonable is it? Do they offer some positives and negatives? If so, then that's probably a pretty credible review. And then finally, here's the most important thing. Did you see it? If not, the question that you have to ask yourself is, how much are you monitoring your system and monitoring your digital footprint? If you don't know when bad reviews are getting posted, or you don't get notice within 24 to 48 hours, you absolutely need to make a change. Finally, the one more thing that I wanted to add here is there no negative review whatsoever? If that happens, then you need to add one more thing. If you've got many, but I'll get to that in a sec. If you need to make changes, first of all, realize that if you got a lot of bad reviews, reputation management should not be your concern. You have other bigger fish to fry and other things to worry about than a bad review. You need to make changes within your organization so that kind of thing doesn't happen again. Second, if you've got some reviews that are good and some that are bad, figure out why the bad happened, and then see what you can do to try and make it right within the organization. And finally, here's the key that I was talking about prior. If you've got all good reviews, that is weird. In this day and age, when everybody and their brother can send you a report, send a review to you, if everything is at a 5 out of 5, I think that's weird. If I were you, I'd go in and give yourself 4 out of 5 stars, or have your friends give you 4 out of 5 stars, because nothing is ever perfect. Earlier, I said, remember, mistakes happen. So make sure that you allot for that a little. So that's everything that we've got here today. I did want to share a couple more things before we go. If you are interested in participating in some other Bizzy webinars and some other trainings that we're doing around the Twin Cities, you can go to BizzyWeb.com/events. If you are interested in getting a free analysis of your website to figure out what you're doing well, what you can do different, you can go to BizzyWeb.com/buzz. I also wanted to give you a link to the Constant Contact marketing resources. It's a great place where you can get a lot of different things on a lot of different pieces of information. It's a really great repository of a lot of digital marketing things that I really would like to see happen with us. So thanks again for joining us. I didn't put Jenna's picture on today. Sorry, Jenna.
No, that's okay. I'll live somehow.
Okay. Well, you and I will be back in 2 weeks, I think. And until then, Dave will be back in this chair next Wednesday at noon. So if you are wanting to find us on the web, please do so. Go to BizzyWeb.com. We look forward to talking with you in the future. Thanks, everybody, and have a great week.